thought the end would be different somehow.
Okay.
We need to gather all his precious objects.
They sent me a list. Things we have to prepare before his arrival. Who is coming over?
The man
Deb recommended.
Recommended for what?
Hi, how are everyone? Hi,
Hi,
Julia.
Mary
Good to see you
Beth.
again. Hi, Kate. Hi,
Hello.
Colby. This is so cool. So exciting. Congratulations on the surrender. This is one of my favorite movies out of South by Southwest, so I'm very excited to be chatting with you
Yay.
guys.
Yay.
Um, Julia, I know we talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to ask again. I know this is based a lot on your own experience with your mom and your own experience with losing your stepdad. And I was just curious what it was like for you in the writing and in not just the writing process, but the directing process, and what that was like for you to experience all of those emotions over again as a director and sharing those emotions with your cast too. I mean, yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
question.
I mean, it was incredibly cathartic writing this script. I mean, it allowed me to process kind of what I was going through, but through this wonderful, spectacular lens of horror, which allows that kind of distance so you can process and kind of see things a little bit more clearly. But I think the most incredible thing was getting to really look at this from my mother's perspective a bit more and getting to understand her a bit more through this process. And that included like sharing the script with her and getting her thoughts on it and making sure that she was okay with everything that was in there.
The number one approver of the whole thing. Who cares about a studio? It's your mom that has to approve
Always.
Really, you know,
it.
it's so deeply personal that I was just like, if
Yeah.
she's not on board with this, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Um, and
absolutely.
but these two incredible actresses, it was really wonderful seeing them bring these characters to life because I feel like they really made the characters their own. And so what you ended up seeing on screen, like it was inspired by my mother and I, but it's definitely not us anymore. Like this is really Megan and Barbara, like Kate and Colby, these are your characters.
Well, and Kate and Colby, and I'll start with Colby. What, like reading the script and auditioning, like what about this was so interesting to you, especially, Colby coming from a lot of TV and Kate, you as well, coming with this incredible career. What about this film felt different for y'all? And Colby, I want to start with you, just hearing about that from you.
I was really attracted to the intimacy of it. Like, I've been on these wonderfully huge sets over the last few years, and when anybody asks me what do you want to do, I'd always say like a two-hander. And then this two-hander landed in my lap, and I was like, "Oh, and it's well written. Oh, and I connect to it. I didn't have to stretch to connect to it at all. I was just
Oh,
like,
cool.
oh yeah, I have a very close relationship with my parents. I will be inconsolable when they go. And there's also like, of course, there's tension between parents and kids. Like that's the nature of that relationship. And so it just was, I mean, my relationship with my mother is nothing like Megan's, but like
Happy to
but
hear it.
like there was, it's very easy to connect to it. I think because Julia was so honest, which is
Mm.
actually a really beautiful gift that she gave us. Being so honest in her writing and so specific in her writing allowed us,
Mm.
and then giving it over to us, allowed us to really take it and run. Um, yeah, I was so, and the horror aspect of it, it then gets into this whole other world, which is so fun for me. Like playing pretend is my favorite thing to do, which is why I've made a career out of it. And to like dive in fully to extraordinary circumstances and with such great actors and with such great crew. It was a dream. I loved making this movie so much.
And then Kate, what about, I would love to hear your, like, just from you, the same question about being attracted to the script and being part of this, and what about it, if anything, felt different for you as an actor?
I mean, always as actors, we're drawn to great writing for great characters, and this is exactly what I experienced when I looked at the script.
And at first it sort of came my way, and I was dealing with like obviously always a lot of other stuff in my life, and I just kind of it floated up into my eyeballs and I started reading it and I went, "Oh yeah. Oh, okay, this one." And I have found, I have to say, after 4 decades doing this, I am, oops, sorry. Oh, sorry. I've turned on something. Hang on. It's
You're
gone.
good.
Oh. Um, I is that I really do now trust my, it's taken me 4 decades, but I really, if I love what I'm reading on page two, I mean, definitely the first 10 pages, but page one, page two, if I'm intrigued or I start laughing or I start crying or I start having an emotion, then I know I got to take it. And I'm really trusting my instincts now. And it's taken me a very, very long time. But what is amazing about this story is it's a story that we've all experienced. Some of you haven't experienced it yet, but you will. Julia and I have both experienced it. And the reality is it's true and it's real and it's funny and it's human. And what's amazing about this story is it starts this way, and then suddenly, not suddenly, but it starts to organically morph into something else. And
Yeah.
that has always excited me as an actor when a story, you're telling a story, and it could be one of the greatest plays ever written, Hedda Gabler. It can be one, I'm doing a little adorable, very funny off-Broadway Irish comedy right now, and just everything turns on its axis. And that's what happens in this movie because the great storytellers like Julia have the confidence to know, oh, I'm going to tell this story. People are going to connect to it. And then suddenly they're going to go, wait a minute. And that's what's so exciting about it. And
I
it's
told I
and it's resonating with so many people, which
Yeah.
honestly, as we made the movie, it was such a labor of love, the most joyful set, even though we were making this very dark story, because led by, the glory that is Julia Max. And yet it's just so exciting to create this incredible piece, Julia's creation, with our sturdy help, and then to have people respond to it the way they're responding to it. It's what you dream of as an actor. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
listen, I'm just going to say when I'm sure when Colby started making The Boys, when I started making Grey's Anatomy 20 years ago, we were making a show that we had no idea the impact it would have. We made 13
Yeah.
episodes before it went on the air, and we knew instantly, oh my God, it's having this huge impact. And 20 years later, that's still the case. I mean, that's very unusual, but it's a
Yeah.
shocking, and I feel very blessed. And again, playing an epic mom,
An
an
epic
epic
mom.
mother.
An
Love the
epic
epic
mother.
moms.
Well, and my friend sadly lost her mom to cancer, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know if I can recommend this movie to you, but
Right.
like it would resonate really heavily, but I don't know if you should watch it, but I want you to, but I
It's kind
don't."
of
So,
amazing, though. That's amazing
yeah.
that you thought that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, because I think the reality that you guys hit with this, even though it's a horror movie, is very
Yeah.
real. And I was curious with like with all three of you, what was rehearsal? Was there a lot of rehearsal time? Was there any rehearsal time to like get that chemistry? Because Colby and Kate, your chemistry as a mother and daughter is like kind of incredible. And the way you bicker but also laugh together is so cool. I was like, are they really mother and daughter? So I wanted to hear about like, so thank you for convincing me. I not convincing me, but I was like, I buy it. So what was that process like just coming together and preparing to dive into this world?
Yeah, we had 4, 5 days of rehearsal. Julia, you want to go first?
Yeah.
5 days of
Five.
rehearsal. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing was that, I mean, yeah, Kate and I mean, all three of us come from the theater. And so to have like we basically, in the first week of rehearsal in theater, you sit and you do table work. You like go
Yeah.
through the script and you just make sure that everybody's on the same page. And that's what we did with this. And Julia was so open to our questions and our thoughts about the intricacies of our relationship. And also, I mean, Kate is Kate is just a dream. Like Kate is Kate could have a full 2 hour long conversation with a talking anything. Like Kate is like an amazing personality and person, and it was so open to me, and like
Oh, well, it
I
was
I got
easy, let me tell you. It was pretty
But
damn
I want to be
easy.
on. I want to go back in time and be on the set. I feel like your guys' set
Yes,
was
You
like
should
the
be with us,
coolest
Mary
set
Beth.
it was the
ever. Like
greatest set. It was the
it just
greatest
sounds
So
set.
fun.
much fun.
We just
We
got to
just hung.
like
I mean, basically, it was like, oh, great. I get to go to work in this beautiful, beautiful house. I get to hang out with Colby Minifie all day long. We never stop
Darn.
laughing. We never stop telling stories. I mean, Julia, I mean, the only hard thing about Julia directing the movie is that she couldn't hang out with us as much. Because that was the beauty of the first 5 days, the way we rehearsed. We were just the three of us, just yak, 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 writing, right. She was writing, we were giving her ideas, we would practice scenes, we talked
yeah,
about the storytelling. I mean, just it was a joyful experience.
yeah. Kay let me sit in her dressing room and chat all
Let,
day.
let me sit in her dressing room, please.
I'd be
I
like,
was always in her dressing room taking naps.
hey. I'd be like, hey, you want to chat? You want to
Come
talk?
on in, honey. But there's nothing, I mean, Mary Beth, so many, and also there's something very wonderful about shooting in a house. So we have
Yeah.
rooms as opposed to trailers. 'Cause trailers can be
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, you have to go up a little steps, there's a little wonky little door,
Yeah.
what I mean? And
That's
we
true.
all had these sort of spaces that were so beautiful. That's so unusual. Because usually, when you're shooting anything, I mean, I have shot in some pretty rough spots. When I think of like, oh. But Julia, from you, I'm going to ask a question to Julia. I mean,
Hell yeah.
from your point of view as a director and also as an actress, did you, when you sort of were creating this, and you talked about your mom, talking to your mom, and I actually did finally have a very long conversation with your mom, but not until we finished shooting.
I know my mom is obsessed with Kate. It's the
Well, I'm
sweetest.
obsessed with Julia.
She's like, oh, Kate's me. Like that's so
No, but we had
good.
and there were a couple of things that I told her because she hadn't watched. I don't think you'd shown her anything, Julia.
She
Um,
hadn't at that point.
she
She hadn't
hadn't
seen.
seen anything, so I told her about a few things that had been changed from the original script that we had worked on in rehearsal and that you had done a few little rewrites. There was one, I forget what it was. And I said, yes, that got changed. She went, oh, good. Because I wasn't so sure about that one. I was like, well, I got your back. I said, we changed. Anyway, and then it was so great to have her at South by Southwest. It was just dreamy. But what was beautiful, Julia, it was, I mean, yes, your mom, but it was also your story. Your story in terms of how you wanted to tell it. It was very much, if I may say.
So
Yeah, no,
cool. Hey, Julia, what a cool first experience. It's like your first feature. I know you've directed shorts before. It's not your first time directing, but like, wow, what a cool, amazing experience with some
like
incredible actors and just human beings. Like,
yeah, it was a dream come true. Like the whole team, like our crew was phenomenal, and every member of our cast. Because honestly, half of the battle is casting. If
yeah.
you cast
Oh,
the
yeah.
right people, there's very little direction you need to give them, and you can just let them kind of go wild and do their thing because they so get it. And that's why we
Yeah.
were just so lucky when we got Kate and Colby involved. We were just like, oh. Yes, I see where this movie is going now. We're in good hands with these two phenomenal actresses.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
but the reason why we were able to go to just be as free as possible is because Julia is the most prepared person ever, ever. She wrote the schedule. She did
Wow.
4 different drafts of the shot list based on different locations as they changed. I mean,
That's not good stuff, though. That's the only way you get a movie like this done. And
yeah,
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
you have
yeah,
to.
she is the most prepared director. And on top of that, she, wrote this thing, poured over every aspect of it, and then was able to give it to us, which is, I think, the hardest job. It's like letting go of your child, being like, okay, you're
Yeah.
a person, goodbye. Like doing that, I think, is the hardest job. And she did that so gracefully with us, and it meant that we were able to have ownership over it and to really let ourselves go, and that because she trusted us and because we trusted her. If she was
What?
like,
Yeah.
we asked a question and she was like, I don't know, we'd be like, ah!
Like,
you
uh-oh.
know
But like what a cool experience for you guys as actors too, to get to really tap into that and like have that experience to be, because I feel like you get to be a freer and you get to, like you said, your prep of theater background, and I know that's such a different kind of experience. Like live theater is ooh, scary. So it's so cool to get that experience as actors too, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it was like a
Um,
little incubation thing, and now it's out in the world, and it's like, whoa, look what we made.
what? Well, I have to wrap up, but thank you all three of you so much for chatting. This was
Thanks,
amazing. I
Mary
could chat with
Beth.
you all for hours, but congratulations on the surrender. I can't wait for the world to see it, and I
And
really appreciate y'all taking the
great chatting with you.
time.
Oh,
Thank
thank you so much. It
you.
was wonderful seeing you again.